New patch. And it's playoff time. In the top, I was gonna say top, but you know what? Let's do the bottom, because that's actually where we were. In the bottom left-hand side, we are going to be starting off with our blue Zerg player. This is going to be Ragnarok. Up against the red Terran in the top right-hand side from Team Liquid, Clem. So, everybody, hello, welcome. Hope you are doing well today. And excited for our first game of this best of 3. To get started off, like I said, there are going to be 2 matches going on at the same time. So, while this is happening, there is a sneaky little, if I sneak on over here, there's a sneaky little bit of Sugumiho going on at the same time. That's obviously just got underway as well. So, we'll keep you guys up to date on both playoff matches happening at once. Like I said, it's just the way it's going. So I'll keep you guys up to date on the scores. We're not going to hide scores for matches off stream or anything. We're not holding those back for casting or anything. It's literally just we need 2 at once. Otherwise, today will last literally forever. So that is the way we're doing it. And yeah. Back in the day, I used to be able to press this button, and it used to take us to the Yep, I was going to say, not anymore. It used to take us to a picture-in-picture of the second screen, but, yep, that one, that chip's flown, apparently. But, yeah, I could do picture-in-picture if I set it up, I suppose, but I have not, so... Tough life, guys, I'm sorry. I don't really like doing the picture-in-picture, though. It gets a little bit too distracting, right? It gets a little bit too... unfuddling. I'd rather just go back and show you guys like the ends of games and stuff, keep you guys up to date. Like I say, we'll just go. So Overlord coming up to the top side. Command Center is building on the natural expansion of Clem. This is a Reaper opening, nothing too crazy about this. Clem does come in as the lower seed, so he will be playing West, Central, West. So this is going to be server advantage Ragnarok for game number 1 on Clem's map pick. Reactor coming up, Reactor coming down. I'm just going to be seeing a couple Queens building here from Ragnarok as well. First Reaper Harass then comes in and doesn't really do anything too crazy to start out. Doesn't even do that well in terms of dealing damage to these Lings. Takes a lot of damage itself. Reaper backed up. Reaper will just have to sit back for the moment as Ragnarok not choosing to do anything too special just yet. This Reaper just... looking around over to the left side, you have that Ling speed coming up on the side of Ragnarok, so nothing really too surprising about that. Intrigued to see if Clem introduces some early Ravens. Oh, he's going to go second factory. Wow, everyone seems to think Battle Mech is the way to go in these TvZs. Clearly, Clem was checking out some of the other matches that were going on. And checking out some of those other matches going on, and has seen some of this Battle Mech, so... I'm gonna hit the Reaper a little bit, and we do see just the, scouting from Clem, making sure he's safe here. Let's see if this is Blue Flame on the second factory. It could also be Magfield and just Fast Cyclones, with it being a shorter map. And you have seen a mix of those 2 builds throughout this event, so you really do have the choice of kind of either or here, I think. Second factory finishes. I will absolutely go to the Tech Lab, and like I say, it's really a question of just Blue Flame Hellions outright. Or are we going to go via the Cyclones initially? Let's see. He is going to go via the Cyclones. So this seems to be the choice on the shorter maps to get Magfield Accelerator and Cyclones going. And on the larger maps, if you go double factory, they're playing Blue Flame a lot. So these builds have been pretty prominent from the Terran players on this patch tournament. A lot of people have been using it and reusing it. Let's do just have our first Cyclone with the game on the way up. Then, of course, with that Magfield Accelerator change, they no longer do plus 20 damage to armored units with the lock-on, but they do plus 10 damage to every unit with the lock-on. Overall, I think that's a nerf, right? No, sorry, I think that's a buff overall. It's obviously a nerf against a lot of certain scenarios where you play like against very heavy roaches, etc. But overall, I think it's a buff. I mean, you're doing half as much damage, but to like 4 times as many different units. It means that the Cyclone is not as hard of a counter in niche scenarios, basically. So. Yeah, I kind of like this. I think it's a buff overall. I think, I don't know if it's enough to make the Cyclone, like, viable, per se. I like it. Like, it obviously will be nerfed in certain situations, and maybe some early game scenarios against, like, Stalkers and the Oracles, it really is going to feel like a nerf, where sometimes you could have Macfield, but who's building Macfield in those scenarios 90% of the time anyway, right? That's my question. You know, if you're building Macfield in those scenarios, you're just already making life difficult for yourself. In an opening like this, though, where you get to be the aggressor and stuff, I think Macfield can be very cool. Obviously, Clem is going to fully commit to mech behind this Infernal Pre-Igniter now coming up. It's not every day you see Clem playing a bit of mech, but he has used it in the past. He used it in that DreamHack match against Reno that one time, and everyone lost their mind. Thought, Clem's playing mech! Ah! So yeah, Clem, not known for his mech, but has been seen to play mech before. It's not like this is a thing he's just trying out for the first time. As you see, double Evo Chamber and a Roach Roaring coming up on the bottom right. Those few Koreans transferring across the bottom side. Just going to be seeing the Hellions trying to dot up here. Unable to get there. Too many Queens as the Lings initially, though, getting roasted. The Roach Roaring just is not ready yet. I mean, that is a lot of Queens, don't get me wrong, but Cyclones, again, to the point where they will get rid of Queens very quickly the moment they lock on. Even with transfusions, the Cyclones will just drain transfusions off the Queens. As our Hellions trying to come around this south side, will not really see too much luck there. Cyclone grabs another Overlord, and this Cyclone is lucky not to have been surrounded by Lings, because that seems like an easy pickoff, and Ragnarok doesn't find it, as he's going to play melee missile, so he's going to go no armor upgrades, doesn't see the value in them against Blue Flame Cyclone play, and is instead just going to play into all the attacking upgrades, and wants a combination of Lings and Roaches to take on this army comp. That's, kind of interesting, as these few Lings are going to sneak into that mineral line, so that may be some damage. Clem starts to respond. He's got some Blue Flame Hellions on the natural. This should be fairly limited. Obviously, it takes no time at all to get back home if Clem wants to bring the main army back. Looks as though he is going to do that. And this is nice from Ragnarok then, because it buys him a bit of time. And actually, Clem was ahead on workers if it wasn't for this attack. So that was somewhat essential, I think one could say. Let's just have our Hellions and Cyclones still working their way into that third base for the moment. I'm just going to be seeing this continuing through for now. 8 SCVs died. Like I say, I mean, it was almost essential damage for Ragnarok. He really wasn't looking good economy-wise, so yeah, it's a big turnaround as the Cyclone, yep, is running the wrong way. He's looking backwards. It's like, look at me, I can walk with my head turned the wrong way. It's like, good job, Billy. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, I'm so glad this is what you've achieved in all your years of being made as a Cyclone. Congratulations. Will mech be the new meta? No, I don't think mech will be the new meta. I think it's going to have... My prediction would be mech will have like a bit of a phase where it's like, ooh, mech and battle mech, and these openings are fun. Then Zergs will get good at dealing with them, and we'll go back to bio. And then these sort of styles will be brought in like once every best of 5 or something for some players, and for others, they just won't touch them. Or in like certain maps, it might be good, for example. Yeah, I don't see this being a permanent thing. 14 SCVs just got crashed into by Banelings over here, guys. So some hefty damage done. I mean, like I say, once more, that's going to put Ragnarok ahead on workers instead of just being equal on workers. As Ragnarok is playing this very swarmy style, we'll see if he can actually get enough to break through. Clem has been building Cyclones for a long time. He's only just now starting to look towards Siege Tank production. And here comes Ragnarok. I mean, Clem will have plenty of prior warning to pull away from this base. His units will get across here, and it's just a question mark of, can these Cyclones do enough? Obviously, this is where the Cyclones are kind of a little bit of a moment. Do they have, you know, without the extra damage against these Roaches, is this still going to be okay? Is they all going to lift off this base? Just going to be seeing this tank sieging. Obviously, Clem put himself in this position. He could have stopped building Cyclones a little bit sooner if he really wanted to. By choosing not to do that, I do feel like he made his life more difficult, and this obviously made his life more difficult. He let these Roaches into the natural. He didn't siege up the tank there soon enough, and yeah, just like I say, making things more complicated. As right now, it's complicated due to the fact that these Lings are just, you know, in front of these Cyclones, and there's no Hellions to protect against them. You need the Hellions to get rid of the Lings so the Cyclones can deal with the Roaches. A scan across the map, Clem trying to get a read on the economy situation, I believe. That's the thing with Battle Mech. I mean, to be fair, though, I do think this would have been okay for Clem if he could Cyclones one round sooner. Imagine he has 1 or 2 tanks behind this wall initially, and he could have easily had that by now. The switch into tanks could have easily happened at this stage of the game, so not too convinced that this is necessarily to the fault of Ragnarok, the fault of, you know, Ragnarok for making it born. I think Clem could have, like I say, been way better set up defensively. Two Lings going to make their way through, not too much avail. Clem is still going to be on 4 bases against, well, coming up to 5 bases as the Zerg. Obviously pretty low tech, but starting to get up to that hive, so it is improving. And Ragnarok, as he maxes out, is likely to be able to find some extra additional fights for himself and see if they will go in his favor at all. See if he can clean up Clem and just close out this first game of the day. Again, the +2 melee, +2 missiles continuing up. Just going to be seeing our Lingbane Ravager moving around. Going everything up down to the south side. A few additional Balins just going to be morphing in. Hive continuing to build. And there's these couple of roaches getting rid of those Hellions. The Hellions will go down. Tanks and Hellions still producing. 2 vehicle weapons and playing on the way up as well, so Clem continues to bring into those upgrades and get to the later stages. That's what Ragnarok is getting the Vipers for. It'll be fun to see the Vipers again. The Abduct nerf is something that we've been talking about. We've seen here and there, but it would be unfair to say it's had the biggest of impacts, right? I mean, there's been a couple of times where I'm like, oh, the Vipers, but there's been a lot of times where I'm like, oh, the Vipers abducted and it made no difference, so I think that's kind of fair. I think that's kind of the expectation of the change, right? This Clem. Terrifying army, in fairness, as 11 SCVs go down. Was that mostly from splash damage? I think it might have been. 12 SCVs dead then. Is just going to be seeing the rest of this force from Ragnarok coming back along the bottom side. A few tanks continue to siege. The Ultraless Cavern is coming up and just going to be seeing this push of Clem. Needs to be careful, man. He is not fully sieged. Oh, God. And he's just pushing onto the edge of creep, and you know what? The majority of this fight, I think, is pretty good for Clem, apart from losing that clump of tanks, which, if he just had them pre-siege, if he'd had them a bit more split up, anything, right, would have helped. Just getting a little bit too over-eager, just a little bit too soon. Oh, come on, Ragnarok. Build the Ultralisks. I want to, we want to use the little Ultralist soundbite. Bro, please. Well, there's going to be seeing our Cyclones still pressing forward. I mean, Clem's still making a bit of a push out of this. Resources lost is even, which is a pretty good indicator that the Zergs had fantastic fights. Usually Mech would be trading way better than this, as we do see the Viper's just going to come through. Double Blinding Cloud was perfectly placed, and it's going to nullify the tanks. The run-by doesn't do much. Another Blinding Cloud, more tanks getting caught up here. I just don't think Clem really has a way to truly fight against this, as it looks as though Ragnarok has a little bit too much here in game number 1. This is looking very good for him. As our Cyclone's pulling back. Getting rid of a little bit more Lingbane. A couple of Cyclones over here. We'll grab a cheeky little lock on as well. One Roach going down. A few Lings coming in for a little surround as well. Just going to be seeing the other Lings coming in from the other side. We'll wrap around. And the Cyclones will indeed fall. I would say this is really was just a game of Clem being underprepared multiple times for fights, right? I think that's what it comes down to. Didn't have the siege tanks for the first big push. Wasn't sieged up in his most recent attack. Both these definitely kind of defining points of the game. Few Hellions. Getting roasted still by these few Hellions. Just going to be having the attempted run by, but obviously Ragnarok is maxed out again. He's going to go again very soon, and he is going to have a go of it, I'm pretty sure. There's these few Hellions. Trying the absolute best to grab a few drones. Links from the other side with the roaches. And that's going to be GG's. Ragnarok does indeed close out game number 1 of this best of 3. Was opting to play Bio. Yeah, pretty much that's what was going on. And losing out in an eventual fight. I was honestly, like, it really felt like, if you guys had seen the rest of the game, I kept like a slight eye on it. It really just felt like Gumiho's game, so crazy results. As in the top right side, our mechin player from game 1. See if he wants to be mechin again in game 2. It is Team Liquid's Clem. Bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg from Alpha X. This is Ragnarok. Alright, game number 2. It's Data C for our map. And we'll see what happens here as Ragnarok looks to close out and become victorious. Meanwhile, Clem is looking to even things out. Take us to that third game. Where's the Gumiho Sue stream? There's nobody streaming Gumiho versus Sue. I thought some of the other language casters might do it, like they've been doing the past few days, but they did not. So, can't do anything with that. TvZ going down to the natural. Reaper is on the way up. No surprises initially from Clem. No proxies or anything. What are the red and blue boxes on the minimap? Those are the players' point of views. That's where the player is looking at any point in time. And that's the part of the screen they see. So, for example, if we go onto the Clem camera, and we basically match up with where his box is. Obviously, you can't see where his box is from his point of view camera, but you get the idea. Healings, just going to be getting some damage done to the Reaper. Reaper putting some damage out, and we do have the Queen here. Just helping to push that Reaper back through to the middle of the map. A couple of CCs still coming online. Now hatchery of Ragnarok going on to the third base as our reactor is about to finish up. So reactor finishing factory. Going to be able to swap on over to that reactor. I'm start a Marine. He's like, wait a second. No, I need to play swapsies first. And I was just going to be seeing the Reaper coming back through. Starport is coming along. Link speed is coming in. And just going to be having this Reaper down the bottom side. A little cheeky peek as to what's going on. Two Queens around the bottom. Third hatch comes up. Ling speed will be finishing shortly. Just going to be seeing our Lings continuing through, the Queens continuing by. A couple more Hellions coming up on the side of Clem. So all of this just continuing through for the moment. He's going to go Banshee. So seems like a bit more standard Hellion Banshee this game. Probably into Bio. Obviously Banshee can get Hyperflight rotors more easily nowadays, but I'm not... Yeah. No, not really sure that he's going to go into that. I think he's going to play a bit more of a standard style, in all honesty. I think that probably makes more sense. And she's about to finish. Lair does start on the side from Ragnarok. I'm just going to have that Marine getting to move forward, get some damage onto the Overlord. Hellions escape back through to the center. And again, Lair, a few extractors, a few drones, all of that just building. The Baneling Nest as well coming up and online. Queen City here, just going to be having the first Banshee making its way down the bottom side. And we do have Lair, Baneling Nest, drones, all of that continuing to produce as our Queen gets in and helps to push that Banshee away. Cloak going to be finishing very soon here from Clem, so again able to up the ante a little bit in the very near future. Banshee making his way down. We do have a Spire on the way up from Ragnarok, by the way, so he's going to be able to see a little bit of extra tech for himself. This is again full on bio play at the moment from Clem, so no surprises about that. Again, Hellions, a couple of Banshees making their way through. The Queen's already in some trouble, taking some damage. And the Hellions actually going to get some good shots on these Lings, no? I was a little concerned for a few moments. We do bring the hurt Queen back. We will save the Banshee at the front. We will lose a Queen. And these Lings are still a bit hurt from afar. We will... Oh, wow! Get double Banshee. Good retarget from Ragnarok. Hits the Banshee coming in from the back. Kills that off, and that means that he actually gets both of them. I like this a lot for Clem until he lost both Banshees. Even if you lost one, I'm like, well, you have a Banshee still to control some map and maybe keep an eye on a, future base coming online, etc. Now, you lose both Banshees? I mean, there's so much potential gone in that moment, right? So that was, like I say, nice target fire from Ragnarok, targeting to the back there initially, and able to get a lot done because of it. Very well handled. Hellions and a Reaper coming looping around the bottom side as the Queens are there just to push around a little now. We do have our Mutas about to arrive. Clem's preparation against Mutas right now, not really very existent, but he'll try his best as he will already be dropping. Scary, of course, to be dropping into Mutas because then the drop is almost destined to die at some stage. He's going to slow down initially and go into an Overlord, and well, we'll see when Clem spots these Mutas and how he's going to deal with them. As the position in the game isn't terrible for Clem, but if the Mutas start getting a lot done, then it obviously absolutely can be pretty rough. Bane, Muta coming through, these Marines fully surrounded, the Mutas continue to chase the Medivacs. That's just a disaster drop, so yeah, this is already a lot being done, to be fair. So we've seen the extra Marines, Hellions, the Widow Mines as well coming through, and we'll go chasing those few Lings and Banes away. And you have, meanwhile, Ragnarok into the main base. Coming by, gonna try to grab a cheeky SCV to begin with. That's why we have a moment of calm, by the way. Gumiho opened game 2 against Su, proxy 3 racks. Su defended and is in a pretty strong position, about 11 drones ahead, 7 minutes into the game. Gumiho held back on 2 bases, and Su powering up off of 3, so that's where the other matches go, and Su leads that series 1-0 at the moment. I'll give you any further updates when they are applicable. As Clem comes back, pushing through the center of the map, Lings begin to work their way through a set of rocks here. Mutalisks will move off to the top side, and again look to try and strike somewhere Clem isn't ready to defend. Wouldn't mind here, we'll get a Mutalisk though, so that's actually a good start. And this depot is just a good little, A, a bait I guess, because he gets a Muta off of it, and B, just a good kind of heads up, hey look, we've got some units coming our way, let's get some preparations made. How did that Widow Mine not fire? And the second Widow Mine actually hits kind of badly too, all things considered. Clem's 4th base is going to be wiped out, but Clem is on top of Ragnarok's 4th base as well, or 3rd base. There's actually a big base for Ragnarok, because if he loses this, he loses the Spire and the Baneling Nest, so he's going to be losing a lot of his further production that you typically expect the Zerg to need going on in this game. So yeah, it's not just about the hatch. I actually wouldn't mind so much if just the hatch goes down, because he did good damage across the map too. But the Bane Nest and the Spire, I mean, those are things which are really expensive, and he's actually, I don't know why he started +1 flyer attacks. A bit of a, I don't know, second nature thing, right? It's just like, instinctive. Oh, my Spire's not upgraded, and boom. Let's get it started. Like I say, Baneling Nest down. Clem does a lot here, base and a lot of the important production structures. As he drops a scan, he is going to continue to back away. Now, Ragnarok does have a 4th still up. It just came online to the top left. Starts 2-2 just now. That means Clem will have an upgrade lead in this game as well, though. So that will also be a little bit of a factor to keep in mind. Ragnarok has quite a bit of money floating around at the moment. Obviously losing a base while a new base comes online is one of the kind of factors for that. You're going to be missing a round of injects or so potentially. Obviously chaotic few moments as well, so maybe just too busy to be injecting perfectly. And obviously could have so many more Zerglings available if he just had the lava. He does have the Hydrogen coming up, that will help with the lava issue. Hydra's a little bit less lava intensive than the Lings and the Banes. As Clem continues pushing here, the Marines have to turn around. As the Marines turn around, we're going to see a little bit of a scan. A whole bunch of our creep spread going to start getting cleaned out as well. So a lot of that creep beginning to drop as here. As you see, the Marines trying to flank in. We are going to get rid of one Mutalisk already. Some Marines on the other side, not quite enough firepower to be truly scary, unfortunately. Oh, we just lost the Overseer? Yeah, well, there's a new one showing up. Few Lings are going to set up the mines as well to make sure there's less effectiveness here from Clem, who could have probably stimmed to get there with the Marines, but probably didn't feel it was worth it. He would have pushed the Mutas back to save one of Widow Mine. Every Marine would have stimmed. And he doesn't know what's potentially coming down the ramp on the left side. So you've got to be concerned about that too. Remember, these fights right now are great for Clem as he has 2-2 against 1-1. So in terms of the numbers and the damage he's dealing, he should be in a pretty great spot. Scan coming up this ramp, just going to be seen Marine still pushing through with a Thor to support. Mine's going to get crashed into as they just go wandering too far forward straight off the bat. Well, we do have Clem continuing this pressure, keeping this push going. Isn't enough? Extra Bane's morph in. We've got Hydras here now as well. I feel like we want to save that Thor. He will lift it up. I mean, to be fair, tanked a bunch of shots before it evacuated. But don't mind here. Ooh! Hitting the Lings actually allowed it to splash onto the Banes that came in. So that was a little unfortunate on the side of Ragnarok, maybe losing a little bit of his splash power. 30 Lings, 5 Banes. We'll continuing up right now. It's just going to be seeing our army of Clem continuing down to the south. We'll grab the Lings. It's going to be seeing the Thor. I'm going to pull back a little bit. I'm just going to be seeing Thor turn around, get a little shot off onto an Overseer. Not doing much. These Banes won't get too far either. They actually blow up the refinery though, so minor bit of inconvenience for Clem. He is now going to start to feel the size of this map, of course. Ragnarok only on 5 bases, but this can get so much better for Ragnarok as that one Thor is obviously out of position compared to everything else. I thought Clem might have had a chance to get a medevac up towards it to save it, but it doesn't happen. Talked about the 2-2 versus 1-1 time, and this is now 3-3 versus 2-2, so Clem still has that upgrade lead to help him out in these engagements and in these trades. I feel like we've not seen the meters for a long time, and I'm not really upset to see them die. Free up a bit of supply. Although, actually, I mean, I say free up a bit of supply, Ragnarok doesn't have the money to remax straight away, so maybe not the ideal time to lose them, but in general, I don't mind the idea of it, right? I think the plan is reasonable. Sense Tower on the top. We've got Sense Towers all over. Remember, Sense Tower range is reduced. That is a factor in this game as well. It's still pretty big, though. I mean, these Sense Towers still give you a crap ton of information. I don't think anyone's going to be turning around the plan on that. Come forward, he's going to knock down a little lurker. That was morphing. Clem continue to fight through the middle. We do see the Ghost coming online as well. Maybe I've seen the Ghost nerf with the snipes come into play a little bit, actually. Times where the Ghost line up snipes and they don't get the connections because the units get out of range. That's obviously something that changed in this patch, so that's one thing. It's not really an effect like usually if Ghosts are meant to kill something, they will. It's just when it feels as though units should be out of range of the Ghosts, even after the snipe started, they actually are now out of range, which means the Terran finds a little bit less efficiency if the Zerg's retreating away. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Things is gonna go, snuck the way through some rocks. Oh, Widow Mine at the top did find a few drones already, and we got more of those Widow Mines looking to drop around. Clem moving them already just into position with the medevac here, as we do see the Spore Crawler coverage. Good against that medevac. So medevac pushed off over to the side. Couple cheeky snipes, and the Queens will fall. Army of Clem goes back further down to the south side of the map here. It's going to be scanning now down. You have again the adaptive talents is on the way, so again continue to build into the lurkers. That lurker production really is being established into pretty nicely as our Ghost will take a pretty hefty step forward here, and moving on to Creep. He's got to be careful. Got a lot of Widow Mines set up. Bit of friendly fire, to be fair, as the Widow Mines did help the Zerg a little bit. The unit still left behind as Ragnarok is looking as though he might continue to chase forward here. Do we have any splash to stop this lane Bane? That was all the way into his natural, giving up his third base for the moment. He starts to unload the Ghosts. Not sure what they... I mean, obviously just DPS they can deal is nice, but Well, they're going to lose this base as well. Oh, the SCVs, they turned to repair it, and the repair last second actually did help to keep that planetary alive, I believe. So they found a chance to get back on the planetary, and it will live. Only 10 SCVs died to all of that. That was a lot of Banelings to use on the planetary, not get a kill, of course. I mean, anytime you almost get a kill but not quite is generally very bad. Well, units continue to push. Coming up this ramp, couple of ghosts helping to lead this charge. We do have in the bottom right Marines able to get a grab. It's going to be seeing the rest of this Ling Hydra Bane force coming back through. Wouldn't mind shot grabs a few Lings. The Lurkers will press forward as well. Wouldn't mind just going off. A lot of Lings getting taken down. The Wouldn't mind throws and falls. Banes go down. These Hydras getting picked off. Just going to be seeing the CC getting picked away as well. You have our Marines on the other side, going to get rid of a Queen, so the counterattack is looking good for Clem. In fact, this entire fight is looking good for Clem. Just like that, Clem has tied us up 1-1 in this best of. In the top right-hand side, it is going to be our Blue Zerg player from Alpha X, Ragnarok. But against the Red Terran from the bottom left, it is Team Liquid's Clem. Winner of this play's time, of course, so that will be quite exciting as well, I imagine. We'll see either TVT with Clem or ZVT with Ragnarok. That will be our next match that we show on stream as well. We will just stick to this section for the moment, guys. Just an update for you guys in terms of how we'll approach things here. Clem, yeah, just holding his own in that later game. Never felt like he was in too much trouble last time around, right? It was pretty comfortable. Just gonna see how Ovi making its way down to the bottom left-hand side, so just going across to see what might happen. Patch gas, spawning pool, all the way in for Ragnarok here. As we get settled here early on as well. And just trying to figure out what Clem will bring. Obviously, he has shown us a bit of battle mech in that first game. This is a shorter map again if he feels confident in it. Not a bad map to play. Just the bio one though either, right? I want to see the Ultras, guys. I'm so selfish wanting to see the Ultras a little bit. Yeah. Who is this Oliveira who beats everyone? That would be Time. Name changed recently. As Reaper will get into action on the other side of the map. Feelings will begin to fight back. 0 kills on the Reaper. Ooh, Clem! Losing the tension there a little bit. Is going to lose out on the Reaper. That's a big deal, because now you don't know if you're safe or not if there's a roach attack coming. That's a very, very big error to have early on in this game. That is, yeah, that's a real shame. Alright, well, there's the roach run. And that's exactly why. Because you lost the Reaper, because you can't scout this anymore. So then Clem is not able to see this coming as easily, and he is playing 3CC, so this is exactly the kind of thing which a fast roach run would like to punish. And it might just hit gold here, as Clem may not be ready. Tron finishing soon. He's going to have his first Hellions instantly going across the map. He is going to go blindly into Banshees, which I think is a fantastic idea because he kind of needs it to stay safe against these roaches. The Hellion will not be able to break past the Queens, though, to get information. This is, like I say, the sort of thing that the Reaper would have been able to already perhaps have picked up on. At least have the possibility of seeing. We'll poke around a much more. These Hellions just too late to really get in there until they see the Roaches moving forward. Again, like I say, fortunately for Clem, he is playing Banshees, and by playing Banshees, he does naturally improve his chance of defending against this, so should be able to get into a better position from there pretty much straight away. As our Roaches move out over the right-hand side, a few Lings gathering together. Drones, Queen, all on the way up, and Ragnarok obviously just setting up for macro behind this. These Hellions have not seen the Roaches, by the way. Which... how upset are we about that for Clem? This Banshee's still going to walk into the Roaches pretty much as quickly as it could have done. Clem? Clem? Bro, he's not seen the Roaches. This, I mean, you can't really say anything about that, right? I mean, you can only really criticize, and unfortunately for Clem, he's at the level at which that shouldn't happen, right? I mean, so he will be criticized. Obviously, this Banshee could have already been dealing damage this entire time. We're talking about like 3 Roaches dead already, if not more. The Hellions would have been back way sooner. This might not even end up being that bad for Clem, but it's honestly crazy because, like, I mean, he does lose a reactor. That's actually something which is a big deal. You know, it takes a while to rebuild. So what, 6 SCVs, a reactor, an SCV pull? It doesn't seem that bad, and it's not. It's just this could have been like 2 SCVs and nothing else, right? So, yeah, I mean, just sad because he saw it with the Banshee eventually. He saw it with the Banshee and got a little bit of a chance to deal some damage. He just wasn't paying attention. Back still building. Now Hellions still across to the right-hand side. Just going to be seeing our Ling speed finishing up from Ragnarok as he will try and save his mineral line with multiple Evo walls, and then we'll actually, I think, build his actual Evo chambers for this game. Clem does have the Banshees to counter with as well, so we'll be looking for some damage from this. As already you see a few drones going down. So Ragnarok will be trailing slightly there. Now Banshees begin to put some further damage onto a Queen already. As we are just going to be seeing our Queens coming up. Those Banshees indeed pushed away to the top side. And just going to be seeing our Roach speed building up as well on the side of Ragnarok. Still bringing that through as we do have the Banshees able to nab a drone. Why didn't Ragnarok just kill the workers in the second base? He probably could have done. He probably felt like there was maybe potentially more damage going into the main. Because if he goes into the main, he can shut down units with spawn, and then maybe he feels like he can extend the time at which he's being effective. Unfortunately for Clem, that siege tank gets caught, and Hellions just weren't close enough to that tank to really protect it. Otherwise, that could have been quite a lot of Lings that got roasted at the very least, but obviously that didn't quite happen. Let's say a bit of a shame. Queens immediately going to get onto this medevac. Is he going to die? Not quite, as Clem doesn't have combat shields yet, but he will stim and take this fight, and Overseer will reverse too far forward and meet its end. Ragnarok actually supply blocked off, losing that Overseer, interestingly enough, as his Roach-Bane combination should be plenty to kind of push Clem away. Ragnarok actually, that supply block is putting him behind on supply. He's counterattacking a game, but to not really too much success. He didn't get any kills. A minor SCV pull, but he loses units, while Clem doesn't really lose anything apart from a little bit of mining time. So that's pretty notable, as we are going to be seeing the Marines and the medevacs continuing to make their way over to the right side. Four Ravages morphing into the center. Ling, Roach, Bane joining up in the middle as well. On the far right side, there is going to be a Hellion just spotting the 5th hatch coming down too, so Clem is aware of where that is, and that obviously allows him to direct his attacks a little bit better as well. Right side hatch, top left hatch, all coming through. These Lings be running themselves around as we do have our push forward. And a few Balins will begin to morph in that upper left-hand side. Here come the Marines. This is going to go diving straight in towards this hatchery. It will fall. And Clem is just up a bunch of supply, guys. It's kind of incredible, no? Like, his army just started growing massively. Yeah, Clem just has that kind of macro power behind him sometimes. As going forward here, we'll get rid of a few creep tumors initially, and you know, just going to be having quite a lot of this creep actually being cleaned out. Again, Clem looking to make this a TvT quarterfinal against Time if he wins this matchup. With the ZVZ in the other quarterfinal, though, we'd be guaranteed a TvZ semi, so that this could be very cool and very fun. Right now, Marines come up. They're going to grab this queen. They get it. Creep spread starting to be cleaned out. That's a lot of creep that'll start to go down here as the Lings are going to take a chance to turn around, go after the Marines a little bit. 2-2 melee upgrades coming up. The Lings still producing, and the medevacs will load up and evacuate away back over to the right-hand side. I mean, the 4th of Clem about to come online, 5th building right next to it as well. Oh, free Ravager kill too is trying to clean out some rocks. We actually have the Banshees coming back in from the side. Retention of units is something I always praise Clem for, and stuff like this, keeping the Banshees alive this long, is that right now they can come in, just get some free pickings, right? Clean some creep tumors that Clem wouldn't reach as easily with the bio units. Not sure what these medevacs are necessarily doing floating over there, but it just feels like Clem's getting all the pickoffs and all of the value so far. 4.4 to 2.7k resources lost. Yeah, it just feels like Clem's getting a lot of the value here so far. As we do have a scan coming down again, a bit more creep continuing to fall. Things going down, and Marines will come through the other side. 2-2 melee upgrades continuing up. I'm just going to be seeing more Lingbane Ravager from the left as well. Ragnarok getting ready to launch himself onto this army. Ooh, a few Marines stepping forward, and Marines continue to pull back. Siege tank is there, and it's a good fight for Ragnarok. Feels like Clem doesn't get the value out of this he's looking for. We'll siege a new tank in the back. I mean, a lot of these Lingbane units are clumped quite heavily, so there's a lot of potential there perhaps, but the tank only got one shot off, and Ragnarok good chase away, and the Ultras are on the way, guys. I'm so excited for the Ultras. If we get there, if Clem doesn't die before then. I didn't realize Ragnarok actually had 2-2 against Clem's 1-1, by the way. That's actually pretty notable. That Clem was so behind on upgrades. It means that so much of this fight obviously has been happening with Ragnarok in that upgrade lead as well. So that is a pretty hefty factor too, just being able to trade much better on every individual unit. We're going to come by here and just going to be having now a 22 SCVs killed, so that's the repercussions for losing the fight in the middle. Clem has to pull all the way home, and Ragnarok is able to deal some good eco damage because of it. That's a good punch back, man. Thank you very much to DeepStar99 for the 20-month resub. Intact, it's good to meet you, mate. Thank you so much for the 31-month resub. 31 is the 11th prime, a super prime, since it's a prime numbered spot in the order of prime numbers. Wow. The cube root of 31 is the same as the 4 first significant figures of pi. And 31 is the maximum number of areas inside a circle created from the edges and diagonals of an inscribed 6-sided polygon. Is that enough information, Clem, to allow you to win this TvZ? Find out now as he comes pushing forward. On the counterattack is kind of looking a little scary. Upgrades even for the moment. The 5th base here in some trouble. Viper's coming through for the Blinding Clouds for the first time. These medevacs need to boost and lift up these Marines. No, actually out of Bailings, but I think the Ling full surround is good enough anyways, as yeah, these tanks are unfortunately going to be abandoned. Clem will unload high ground to try and find just some extra value. The supplies are still level, and this time around Ragnarok's actually spent a lot of the money which he had banked up. Previously he was kind of like level but with more money in the bank. That's not true anymore. Once he's got the first Ultra on the way, guys. Are you guys ready for some? I hope so. Some nums, because that Ultra's going to be on the map very shortly. There's Ragnarok. He's kind of backed up into a corner a little bit. The Ultra might just help give a little bit of like initial oomph to a push in, absorb a bit of damage, and really allow him to break this position down. He's also about to have 3-3, so the Zerg going to have an upgrade lead on +3 upgrades. Very rarely happens. Clem splitting medevacs means he's missing out on a lot of healing from those as they do begin to die as well, and Clem's army here is absolutely ravaged. Too many units from Ragnarok coming through the middle of the map, it feels like. And we do have more Ultras, like I say, on the way. There's a couple extra ones on the way. Here's the first baby Ultra coming through to cause complete and utter chaos. Escorted by Daddy Ravager. And it's going to start eating up the Terran player as Clem does not have a way to survive this. He is just too far gone in this game. And it looks as though Ragnarok is going to be the one to advance through and play a quarterfinal here against Time. We abduct through a siege tank. That gets knocked down. His Lings continue to put some work in on these SCVs. Game is called. Ragnarok will eliminate Clem in the top 12. And we'll move through, like I say, to the top 8 himself.